everybody, hope you're all doing good out there. GPSs on motorcycles. I'm a bit of a mixed opinion on them. I like them because, you know, it's great to be able to know where you're going, but equally when there's a screen on your bars I find them quite distracting, and in the past there has honestly been a scenario where I was looking down, looked up and was like, oh dear, and thankfully, you know, I stopped in plenty of time, but from that point onwards I was a bit like, I don't really like GPSs, there's too much information on the screen. But I did see back then this little device made by a company called Beeline, and the idea of it seems really clever. Well, I didn't really think too much of it at the time, and I wasn't about to grab one because, to be fair, I don't use a GPS all that often. But then, a few months ago, Beeline emailed me and said, hey, we'd like to send you one of the units, just to let us know what you think of it. No request of a review, nothing like that, just use it, let us know what you think. And I said, well, I'll make a video because I've seen this already, I kind of know the idea of it, and I really like the idea of it. I'm going to put this on my bike, I'm going to unbox it and show you that now, first time I will have seen it all. I'm going to stick it on the bike and then I'm going to use it for a few weeks, and then I'll give you my sort of conclusions at the end of this video. So I do need to point out that yes, Beeline sent me this product for free, I have not been asked to say anything, I will give you an honest review as I always do. So, it comes in this little box, or at least this is what they've sent me. It's got a sticker in there, quite a cool sticker. You use the Beeline app on your phone, which is available on the Apple Store and the Google Store, to basically control this device, but let's just have a look inside. Hello, twist and lift. Twist. Twist. Simply twist and lift. Wow, that's actually very small. It looks very nicely made. It kind of reminds me of a sort of an old-fashioned pocket watch. Then we've also got an arm mount, which obviously allows you to stick this down to your tank or somewhere, you know, and then you attach the device onto that. And I think the way these work is just a bayonet fitting, so you put it on and it locks on. So then you can put that wherever you want it. This one is the universal mount, and this is for putting on handlebars. They do actually sell a dedicated handlebar mount, which looks far more secure than this. It actually locks onto your bars and you click it in. It would have been great if they'd sent me one of those, because obviously on a motorcycle that's what I'm going to want to use, but I will test it using the supplied method. Continuing down in the box, we have this, which is our charger unit, and I believe that just drops on like... just drops on like... there you go, like so. USB, and that'll allow you to charge it. I believe that they claim 30 hours, or 30 hours of use from a charge, which obviously in riding time is actually quite a long time, so that's pretty good. So that's the charger base. And then they give you these, but they are what you use with the universal mount to hook around the handlebars and hook the unit on. There is also a wrench, which I assume is for, yes, adjusting the arms on there. Sticky pad for the bottom of that, and that's M3 stuff, so at least that will stick well. There is the handlebar mount that I was referring to, which is sold separately. That, I think, is what most of us would probably want to use, if you're doing it on a bike anyway. Unfortunately, the battery's dead out of the box, so I'm going to need to charge this before I can have a play with it. But what I can tell you is that it basically displays where you go with just an arrow and a distance. You can have it tell you turn by turn and tell you what junctions take on roundabouts and things like that. So it's a normal GPS turn by turn system. Or what I like, and I don't know what the official word for this is, but it's like the homing way it does it. So you can put a waypoint in, and then you can ride around it, and all it's going to do is continuously point to where your destination is and distance. So you can choose different ways and just worm your way in through different back roads and learn the back roads. That is what I love. The idea of being able to still explore and get lost, but be able to get home easily as well. And know that you're never going too far in the wrong direction. You can sort of go off east for a while and then come back west, and then, you know what I mean? I think, for my uses, that would be great. Okay, well, let's just quickly install this on the bike and see what it looks like. Okay, so I think centrally mounted here will be best for me. And now I need to work out what size of these I need to use. Is that too much for a stretch? No, that's perfect. Okay, so I can use the smaller size. Have I put this on upside down? Does it make a difference? We'll find out in a minute. Okay, and then that just slides on like that. And then you can adjust its angle. There we go. Obviously, you can put it anywhere on the dash you want to, but for me, I think this will be the best placement. Also, because I have 2 bikes, I can try it between the 2. And if I decide this is a product I want to use long term, then I'll definitely get a couple of those proper handlebar mounts so it's a more permanent fixture. That's all I can tell you for now. The next bit of video will be me actually using it out on the road, and then the conclusions I'll film in a couple of weeks once I've used it and actually ridden with it a fair bit, so I can give you my proper, honest review. And don't forget, of course, when you want to get off the bike and take it with you so no one nicks it, you just twist and remove. And obviously, they could nick that, I guess, but if you have the permanent mount, they couldn't. Yeah, now I've got to go and charge this up and get to using it. I just quickly pulled over and I've put this sat-nav into compass mode. That basically means I've told it I want to go to Portsdown Hill, which is somewhere over that way. And it's not going to give me a sort of turn-by-turn way to get there. It's just pointing at that location and telling me it's 3.2 miles away. I can go left, right, up, down, wherever I want, and it's just going to always point at the place that I've asked it to point at. So I can explore through the roads and then, you know, find my own way. See, right here I've got options. I'm going to go this way. Pigeons. Yeah, I'm not going that way because the Ford is in that direction and I'm not putting Divvy through the Ford. She's too clean for that. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks since I got the Beeline and I've used it on a few different trips. I've tried using all its different modes and I can now give you my conclusions and a bit more information on it. This thing is awesome. I really do like it. The first thing to say about is, as I said with satnavs, I don't really like ones with normal displays that you have to look at for a few moments to work out where you are, what's going on, what's next. Or in my experience, that's what they've been like. With this, you really can glance at it and know where you need to go, how far you are away, and where the next turn's coming up at a glance. It's really quite clever. One of the things we should mention about this that I didn't realise is this doesn't actually have a GPS receiver in it itself. What this effectively is a remote screen for the Beeline app, which runs on Google Maps basically. It's a very simple to use app where you just put in your details, you can save locations, you can import GPX files, I think it is, where you can, have waypoints and stuff. Very simple app to use. And it actually appears that you can have the same interface you see on here displayed on that, and it seems that anyone can download that app and use it as is. So if you want to try this out, I think you can download the app and do that without owning one of these. I did ask one of my followers to download it and just see if it works for them, and he said, yep, it seems to work for me without owning one of these. So maybe try it out if you want to try it out. So you do need to have your phone connected and on at all times. Although they tell me if you lose signal, it will still work, but the phone needs to be on. So it is worth noting, yes, this has a 30-hour battery life, but it's only going to work as long as the battery left in your battery on your phone. Okay, so the way this works is on your phone, you open the Beeline app, and then you will have your saved routes here if you save routes, and you'll have your frequently used here. You can basically add places like, work, home, whatever. I don't know why you'd use GPS between work and home, but yeah, you can put your places in there. Or if you're visiting somewhere, you go and see landmarks, you can be like, that landmark, and it will take you to it. Then in the journeys section, each ride you go on is listed. It shows you the route, average speed, all that sort of stuff. I'm afraid I've had to delete all of that for me because I don't want to give away my address. So to plan a ride, I can't show you this here because I'm at home, and when I open this, it's going to show exactly where I am. So I'm going to show you in a piece of footage, I'm afraid it's not that clear. But it works just like Google Maps. You hit plan ride, you put right in a company name, a business, an address, a postcode, whatever, like you would with Google Maps. It will bring up a selection of options, hit the one you want, and then it will come up on the map like this. So that's going to give you turn-by-turn instructions, I'll explain in a minute. And if you want it to go into compass mode, you just hit compass mode like that. And as you can see, the line is now straight because it's got no route, it's just A and B. Then when you hit go and your Beeline is connected, it automatically sends that over to the Beeline and then it starts giving you your instructions. So pairing this up with your phone is very easy. Entering the details and using the app to get the directions into this is also very easy. It's just like Google Maps. You can use satellite view, you can use normal view, road view, you can avoid highways, all of the stuff you would expect from Google Maps. is on there and it works just like you'd expect. So I don't need to go into great details, trust me, you'll love it. It's how you would want it to be, or at least in my opinion, that's how I feel about it. Because I can't tell you where I am, I'm not going to show you on the screen of my app, but I can now give it a route and I can explain what this is saying. Okay, ignore this spinning because it hasn't quite connected properly yet, but I can explain how the rest of it works. So in this mode, it's doing turn by turn. So it's saying we want to go in that direction with a big arrow, and the next turn we want to take is a left. That's what you can tell from this white dot, because that'll move around depending where you're going, and it's 0.3 miles away. This is how far we are along our journey. Now, as I mentioned, that little thing in the middle that's spinning is just because we haven't started moving yet. It hasn't got its bearings, as it were. But once it does, if you come up to a roundabout, it comes up with a little round symbol to let you know there's a roundabout. And then it just says 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever on it to let you know which exit to take. So you can look at it in a glance and know I need to be going that way. The next turn's going to be that way. I'm this way through my journey. It's only this far until I've got to make my next move. And if I'm coming up to the roundabout, it's going to let me know the junction. In one glance, that is what I love. I think this is fantastic. And you can change the settings on the app to suit you, you know, miles and yards or kilometers or whatever sort of units you want to use in this can do it. Auto reroute enabled, so that means you can suddenly go, oh, actually, no, I'm going to go that way instead, and it'll go, all right, and work out the auto reroute for you. Alternatively, as I mentioned, you can do the same thing, tell it where you want to go, and then before you press go, you press compass, and that then turns it into a straight line. And now what it says is that the place I want to go is 22.3 miles away in that direction. And that's all it's going to tell me. So I can just ride that way for a bit. And just as long as that number's going down and you're roughly heading in the right direction, you're going to end up where you want to be. This will not stop you going down dead ends. This will not stop you taking routes, you know, that seem to get most of the way to the place, but then you can't get quite across, like a river or something, and it's one of those weird situations. It won't stop that happening. You can go off and explore and not get too lost, or generally just know where home is, if you want to keep your bearings. Also, it's worth mentioning, while you're in this mode, you can actually change what's displayed. So this is our navigation instructions. If you press it again, you get a speedo, yes, in miles an hour or kilometers an hour, that seems fairly accurate. In fact, is it a few miles an hour slower than my motorcycle is displaying, which would probably be about correct. And then you've got a couple of different modes to different information. I should mention screen visibility. As you can see here, it's got one of those monochrome screens that reflects light, so when this is outside in the sun, it really shines brightly and you can see it in very bright sun. I mean, the brighter the sun gets, the brighter it gets because it's reflecting it. So I've had no problems seeing it, as long as it's at the right angle for your eyes. Obviously at night, it needs to have a backlight, and it has got one of those, so I'm just going to turn my lights off. If we go to settings and hit there, now the backlight is on, and you can see it's nice and bright. It's not overly bright, so it won't distract you too much at night, but it will be visible. That is a setting in the app to have it automatically come on, but you can manually do it this way. Yeah, and then if you want to turn it off, you just do the same thing, reverse. So day and nighttime screen visibility is great. Criticisms or extra information. Let's go with criticism number one. I would have liked if this screen was actually more filling of the size of the bezel, but you can see what's going on there. Maybe that's something we'll see in the future. Although that would eat battery life, wouldn't it? So it's a payoff. They don't supply a case with it at all, and given that you're going to have to take this off the bike and put it back on the bike and put it in your pocket, it would have been nice if they'd included a case with it. They do sell one for £10, but it appears to be the very generic zip-up little pods that, you know, you get free with headphones and stuff. You might even be able to get a cheap pair of headphones with one of those pods cheaper. Or maybe they're working on the basis which is you can find a little baggie of some sort around to use and repurpose. That's fine, that's what I'm going to do. But just a little neoprene sleeve or something to pop it in included in it would have been quite nice. This bracket I showed you at the beginning, I think some of you will recognise this, and I will point this out because I know some people will ask. Yes, these are interchangeable with GoPro kit. This is a branded GoPro mount from a Hero 9 attached there using the screw supplied, and it works perfectly. So if you want to make your own mounts up and use the GoPro hardware, you can do that. I mean, this one itself actually might be quite good because it's got the ball mount the GoPro make that allow you to move this around, and it's quite stiff, and then you've also got the flex on here. Yeah, many mounting options. I've used this in the area that I live, in more built-up cities. I've used it out in the countryside. It just worked very nicely. And on the Great British roads, which, you know, interconnect and spider their way through the countryside, the mode that just gives you a direction actually works really well, because normally you can just take the next left and then take the next right, and it works out. It's really good. It is not the cheapest device in the world, considering its size, but it is a very nicely made little package. Little bit of a price jump if you want the gunmetal one like this, compared to the black one, which is quite a bit cheaper. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't just get the cheaper one necessarily, but if you really want something that matches in like this, and to be fair, when I was given the option what colour do you want, I said, oh, gunmetal grey sounds nice, not really realising it was £50 more. Honestly, I think these are a unique, fantastic little thing. It's not a phone on your bars and it's not a full GPS. I haven't seen anything quite like this that gives a glance GPS readout on something this small. I really like it. That is my conclusion. Beeline, thank you very much for sending me one. These are my honest opinions. If you're interested in one of these, check out Beeline's website. I'll put a link in the description. As I say, they sent me this for free. They've not paid me anything for this video. I haven't got a code or anything like that. It's my honest opinion of this thing. I think it is pretty damn cool. I really like it. If there are any questions that you have and I haven't answered them in the video, that's quite possible. Post a comment below and I'll answer them. But otherwise, if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe if you are new here, and if you want to help support this channel, maybe consider joining my Patreon. Many benefits to that, as you can see down here. Otherwise, catch you on the next one. Bye bye.